Hi, I'm Femi OK and you're in the stream. Today, bringing back Nigeria's schoolgirls. We'll look at the kidnapping crisis and how Nigerians are responding. So you, our online community, our viewers, you've been asking us to do this story for a long time. Malika Bilal, digital producer of the stream. Requests from pretty much when the story first broke right up to today.
A very vocal request.
Yeah.
So many people were tweeting us about this hashtag, Bring Back Our Girls, which started April 23rd. And it was very local. It started in Nigeria, of course, but since then it has had more than 1 million impressions as it's spread quite literally across the globe. And Nigerians tell us that that's because this is their chance to make their voices heard. Have a listen to this comment.
Social media has enabled the average Nigerian to hold the government responsible for the security of lives, particularly of those girls who were kidnapped. Social media is giving the average Nigerian a voice to demand accountability from the government and responsibility for the lives of those girls in Chibok. I hope we bring them back home.
We want to hear your voice as well, so tweet us with hashtag AJStream.
Now, this story has spread beyond Nigeria and around the world through social media. There are Twitter campaigns, online petitions, Facebook groups. They've all been formed under the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls. And here's some of the other hashtags also related to the story. Suraya, Laddie, Yana, Ruth, there are just a few of the more than 200 girls missing in Nigeria. On April the 14th, they were kidnapped from a school by the armed group Boko Haram. The government says that a rescue operation in the northern state of Borno is underway, but public anger at the lack of results continues to grow, and reports that the girls may have been sold into forced marriages has only fueled more protests. On Tuesday, police reported the abduction of 8 more girls from the region. So today we want to hear how Nigerians are responding to the security crisis and what can be done to help the abducted girls and make cases like these not happen again. So to help us talk about this, we're joined by Ahmed Zana Khalifa. He's a senator from Borno State, where the kidnappings took place. Dauda Ilya is an uncle of one of the schoolgirls who managed to escape from her Boko Haram kidnappers. He's also among the protesters calling for greater action by the government. Hadiza Usman is a coordinator of the Bring Back Our Girls movement, and Reuben Abati is spokesman for Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan. So greetings to you all. It's great to have you all here in the stream. Let me start with Dauda. Tell us about your niece.
She's a niece of mine, like you know. Her father is a cousin of mine. We have the same grandparents.
Sure.
And this 17-year-old girl of in her final year in high school was one of those in the dormitory, the hostel in Government Girls Secondary School in Chibok. On that night of the abduction, she was one of the girls that were herded into a truck and driven out of Chibok in the middle of the night. I had an encounter with her after she had escaped. I went to my uncle to see them in the village precisely on the 20th of April last month, and she narrated her ordeal to me. It's like something out of the movies.
What did she tell you? What did she tell you? What were the highlights that kind of stuck with you?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they were herded in those trucks out of their dormitories and driven out of Chibok in the middle of the night around or about 2 a.m. she said to me. And in the course of the drive, one of the trucks broke down actually after they had left Chibok, maybe about 10-15 miles outside of Chibok, and the convoy of the trucks in which she was in was like 2 trucks behind the one that broke down. So when the truck broke down, there was an effort by the insurgents to fix and repair the truck to get it moving. But when that failed, they set it ablaze and transferred some of the girls to other trucks. And in the course of this, there was some slowing down of the movement, and the truck in which she was in was under a canopy of a tree, and she took advantage of that momentum to just hold on to a tree branch, and ultimately when the truck drove off, it left her hanging like some monkey, I must say, unfortunately. But that was her saving grace, because thereafter she just dropped down and crawled and back to Chibok, arriving there in the morning to her uncle, who happens to be her guardian also, that lives in Chibok. This young girl actually lives about 7 to 8 miles in a village called Kautikari from Chibok. That's where her parents are.
How is she now? How is she emotionally? How does she feel about going to school?
No. When I asked her about going to school, she was, understandably worried. She didn't look comfortable at all. She said school was the last thing on her mind. She was happy to be back at home with her parents. For her, that was the most important thing.
Right. Malika.
And of course, it's interesting that you asked that, Femi. Our community is wondering that exact same thing. So Ibrahim writes in that preparations should be made to give these girls, once they are found, and that's hoping that they are found soon, psychological support and reintegrating them back into society. But Senator, I want to go to you next, because there's a lot of questioning on what Borno looks like, what the northeast of Nigeria looks like, that this could happen. So there's a tweet here on the education, specifically on what going to school looks like in Borno. Shamsuddin says children will now feel reluctant to go to school because their safety is not guaranteed. Another person writes in that the aim of this was to scare parents and guardians from sending their children to school, and there's already a wide gap between the north and the south. Can you tell us about what Borno looks like?
Borno is in a very serious crisis for the past 3 years, and we have been calling the government to do something for all these 3 years, and we have not been getting the proper attention as to the gravity of the situation until these 200 girls were abducted. And actually the local people are living in a very desperate situation, because over 50% or 60% are under the control of Boko Haram. Because if you leave any city 2-3 kilometers, you can find Boko Haram, but nobody goes after them. And therefore the villagers are traumatized, and most of the people have moved into the major cities, and those who are closer to the Cameroonian borders, Nigerian borders, have moved into Niger. Particularly in my local government, the data I had from one particular district, at least 50 villages have moved into Cameroon because their fate are left for them to take care of. So therefore they don't see any security agency for the past 6 months or 7, and on daily basis the insurgents or the Boko Haram have been coming after them, extorting money and taking their wives, their children, and all what have you. And then some of them have now moved out of their villages, completely abandoning the village.
Right.
And you can see what happened 2 days ago in the border town of Gambaru, and despite the fact that I spoke against this particular group who went and invaded Gambaru last 6 weeks, because they invaded one city and killed about 200 people, and now today they invaded Gambaru and killed over 300 people, and this is the type of situation everybody is in.
Okay, Senator,
every village, every local government.
Senator, take a breath. Senator, take a breath for a moment, because this situation, Ruben, it's almost unimaginable that people could live in a situation like this where they're terrorized on a daily basis. We have had this conversation before with you. Why is this particular instance with the schoolgirls, why is this causing so much trouble for the Nigerian government?
Well, the truth of the matter is that what has happened is unfortunate, is tragic. Evil has no other name, it is evil. And the Nigerian government and all concerned persons and stakeholders have condemned this as outrageous. What we're witnessing is a resurgence of action on the part of the criminal elements who go under the name Boko Haram. And the abduction of the girls, as you can see, has been condemned by the whole world. But the federal government of Nigeria is determined and has expressed its determination. The president has personally given clear directives that whatever it takes, we must get to the root of this matter and the girls must be brought back home. When the likes of Senator Zana try to give the impression that the government is doing nothing, that is really, really unfortunate, because Senator Zana occupies an important position and he should be committed to giving responsible information. You will recall that, as I pointed out on this program previously, that looked at a time the Boko Haram threat seemed to have gone down. At the time, the people themselves are taking ownership of the process of ensuring that the Boko Haram elements are flushed out of the Sambisa forest and other enclaves that they are trying to carve out for themselves. But that progress was made. The people then took ownership of it. What we're witnessing is a resurgence.
Okay.
And government must be given credit for what it was able to achieve in the past and the efforts currently being made to ensure that these girls are brought back home and to safety. So the government of Nigeria is just as committed and as outraged and as everyone else. And the president has made it very clear that he realizes, he appreciates the fact that the primary responsibility of government is to ensure the security and welfare of the people.
Sure.
And in this case,
Ruben, take a pause for a moment so we can allow Hadiza into the conversation. Hadiza.
Yeah, just to say that all these atrocities happen under a state of emergency. So it's important for us to note that Borno State was indeed under a state of emergency that these things happened. You have a situation where the soft target of children in a school taking examinations are attacked. And indeed, Boko Haram had severally said and conveyed that children are their targets. The girl child is their target. So it's interesting that we have a situation in a state of emergency where a school that we know has over 200 children will be left unprotected in that way. So that gives us concern. And when we look at the timeline, the response time that the Nigerian government has done with regards to the rescue operation is a cause for concern. An operation of this nature
responded swiftly. No, that's another misconception that a lot of people are bandying about on international media. You recall that immediately the incident occurred and the president was informed. He summoned the security meeting.
Hadiza and Ruben, one at a time. So Hadiza, Ruben's heard you. Just let him reply. Ruben, go ahead. Just briefly, and then yeah. So we can hear you both.
I was saying that she's again promoting another misconception that is at the center of the narrative. That
what's the misconception?
Did not respond promptly.
Okay, all right.
The Nigerian government did not respond.
So you push back on that. Take a breath.
Immediately the incident occurred. The president called Security Council meetings, and the various security agencies were given clear directives as to what to do, to make sure that everything is deployed to pursue the terrorists and to bring the girls back to
Ruben,
safety.
you made that point very clearly when we first heard from you. So take
full army divisions have been devoted to this rescue operation.
All right, take a breath. Ruben, please.
Forces around the border have been mobilized.
Can we respond?
All right, Ruben, allow Hadiza to respond. Go ahead, Hadiza.
Yeah. Our concern is, if you note, the Bring Back Our Girls campaign took off by the 24th, and at that time, the girls have been abducted for over 15 days. So that is a cause for concern. And we're on the 23rd day right now, and no child has been rescued by the Nigerian government. That is a cause for concern. Within this period of 23 days, we as Nigerians require daily briefing on the exact situation of this operation. Of course, we're mindful of the fact that we do not expect the military to provide us any information that will compromise the rescue operations that is ongoing. But at the same time, we feel we're owed. We need to know what is going on. Primarily, our concern is consistently Boko Haram has said these children are a target. What is being done to ensure they're safe and protected? You have a situation where children would not go to school in the Northeast. A whole generation of girls would not be educated in the Northeast because of this sustained attack on the girl child. So that is a cause for concern for us, and that is where we're out there talking about it, bringing discussion to the table. And it's important to note the trend and the snowball effect of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign. this sort of gingered a local, unification of Nigerians. We stand united on this cause. We want everybody to understand. We refuse any politicization of our security issues. We refuse any ethnic issues, religious colorations to this. We stand together to say we need an end to this insurgency. We need the government to stand up and show that indeed the Federal Republic of Nigeria will protect its citizenry, and that is its mandate. We note some sort of passing the buck between the state government and the Nigerian military, where reports are ascribed to the Borno state government. But what concerns us, and we remain on this single issue campaign, is bring our girls back. And
okay.
That is what matters.
Hadiza, you made this point very, very clearly. I'm going to move into the community. We'll come back to you.
Definitely. It's because of these points that the community is really hot actually right now. The number of tweets coming in is quite remarkable. So I want to read this one from Mohammed. He says, Ruben, he addresses this one to you. He says that you say that the government swiftly swung into action while it took social media campaign and a public outcry for an actual committee to be set up. And of course, Ruben, you can tell us whether or not you believe that's true or not. But before that happens, I want to read this from Johnson, because he refutes what the previous tweeter says. He says all this protest, the placards, the social media campaigns that the previous person talked about won't bring back our girls. We need well-equipped men that will storm the forest. Senator, what's actually happening on the ground locally? What's happening among people that are fed up with what they see as government in action? Are they taking matters into their own hands?
Yeah, let me reply Ruben Abati. Let him know that I have more stake in this government than him. He is just an appointee, and I am a senator and representing those people. I know what is happening over there.
Please, you speak
and
as
therefore, and I have contributed my own quota, that I have always been given informations about the movements and the activities of the Boko Haram to the Nigerian security. I have never relented. Despite all intimidations, I have never relented.
All right, so gentlemen, I refuse to allow political point storing on this critical question for Nigeria. I refuse to allow you to do political one-upmanship. We're talking about schoolgirls. They are missing. I refuse to allow it to happen. The community were really keen to know what parents were doing on the ground whose schoolgirls are missing. Senator, you have that information perhaps?
So
would you like to share it with us?
That's why I'm driving at.
Yeah, get to it, please.
You know, that's why I'm driving at. You know, I have been given proper information to whatever information that I get, because I'm closer to the people.
So what are the parents doing then, Senator? Share that with us.
From the grassroots.
All right.
So therefore, whatever information I get about the movement of Boko Haram, I always tell the Nigerian government.
All right, you said that several times. What are the parents doing?
Whether they are going to take action or not is left to them.
Hadiza, go ahead.
Yeah, I can speak about that. The parents are crying. We speak to them on a daily basis. All they're saying is, please sustain your movement. We want our daughters home. They said we can't eat, we can't sleep, we don't know what's going on with our daughters. A whole generation of Chibok women are going to go away. They're concerned that the lineage of their own ethnicity is going to disappear. They're concerned. We speak to them on a daily basis. There's an update. They tell us, please, you are our only hope. When you came into this campaign, that is when the government has stood up to listen to our plight. Nobody has come to us to talk to us. Nobody is in the forest looking for our daughters. Right. Our daughters that escaped did not meet any soldiers on the way. Some of the girls that escaped post 11 days. And when walking back towards the village, they had expected to see the military at the point during a rescue operation, but they didn't see anyone. So we have them crying, continuously begging, saying that you're our hope. Please sustain this, continue this. Hopefully the government will take a concise and decisive effort in rescuing our children. And that is most important to us. That's why we started this, and we're going to sustain our peaceful movement to ensure that we don't want any blame game. What matters to us is to have a concise, decisive effort by the federal government of Nigeria.
All right, let me bring in a family member.
Your position, Adisa, is also the position of the federal government of Nigeria.
All right, good.
The president has made
you're
it
on
very
the same
clear
page.
that
All right, let me bring in
partisanship.
Let me bring in a family member.
Partisanship, that this should not be politicized.
Hadiza,
And one
Ruben,
major
you sound like
Yes.
you're on the same page.
Yes.
Hold tight for a moment. Let me bring in a family member here. Dawda, your niece is safe right now. How safe are the other young girls, actually even student boys as well, in Borno State right now? What kind of security are they having so they don't actually get either massacred or killed? How are they secure?
Thank you, Femi. Precisely, that's the point. I'm a bit worried. I'm getting bored by all this blame game and the kind of diatribe or conversations going on. We need to face the reality on the ground. Truth of the matter is, you see, because of my business background, I'm not impressed by the efforts that are made by government. No matter what number of army divisions are sent to the northeast, is an effort. No matter what number of security meetings are held by government, is an effort. No matter what committees that are set up by government, is an effort.
Let's just be real here. Okay, I'm a schoolgirl. I
Okay,
live in
what
Borno
is-
State.
what-
How safe am I right now? I'm 14. I want to go to school. How safe am I right now if I'm in Borno State?
You are not safe. You are left to your devices. You're just
Okay.
living in the woods. That's it.
All
I
right.
came from Borno on the 28th of May. Of April, I beg your pardon, and I was there throughout the Easter vacation, the weekend, and I went to Chibok and the adjoining villages. People are just helpless. They're just living a life of desolate and desperation. They have no future. These people are they're completely hopeless in their villages.
All right, let me squeeze in a little bit more. Hadiza and Senator and Ruben, I know you have more to say.
Femi, hold on a minute. Let me rest this case. It's not about the effort. We want results.
Right.
And like the senator had said,
You
a
all want
lot of
results.
information
Okay,
has been
I
set
hear that.
to want results. It's not about the efforts. Our governments and businesses are judged by their results, not by the efforts. It's by the
But it's
quality
the
of a
effort that
company,
will
so
yield
government as well.
results. It's the
Ruben, go ahead.
effort that will yield results. And what you need to know is that the Nigerian government is doing everything within its powers, and we're also seeking international assistance. The United States has offered help. Today, President Jonathan spoke with Prime Minister David Cameron of the United Kingdom at 7:05 p.m. He also received a call from the President of France, Francois Hollande. So you find that the international community is also getting involved in this, because what we're dealing with is about crime against humanity. It's about threats to the common humanity that binds all of us. So it's not about blame game. It's not about partisanship. And this is the point that government is making. What is required is concerted
Hadiza, hold on a moment.
involving government, the international community, and also citizens. And that's why President Jonathan called on parents, guardians, every stakeholder. And that is why today the Nigerian police announced, offered a reward of 50 million for anyone who is able to offer information. And all the lines are there. But the major challenge that we have faced has been a lot of misinformation.
Okay.
Senator Zana sits here. He says he offers information. He has on many occasions, in fact, misled the security force.
All right, so Ruben, the reason we're having this conversation is because you're here, Hadiza is here, the senator is here. Hopefully we can actually get some very solid, good information. And more importantly, there are a couple of hundred girls who are lost right now who need to be back with their homes. This conversation, it's not done yet, not even close. You need to go online to stream.aljazeera.com, and that's where we will continue. So much from our online community. Do you want to share some of those tweets with us as we take them across to our post show?
People are angry and it's showing. I want to give us a little tease for the post show. This is one person who says it is good news that recently the U.S. has promised to help, and Nigeria needs high-tech equipment to locate these girls. We can talk in the post show about what that help might look like.
Sure. And if you're watching on TV and you're not able to get it online, you can also check it on our website, stream.aljazeera.com, and you will see the entire show, this bit and the bit that happens next. Meanwhile, let me tell you about Thursday's program. Why has a Palestinian student visit to Auschwitz concentration camp stood out so much controversy? We speak with the professor behind that trip. Stay with us. We're talking Nigeria, the missing schoolgirls, next at stream.aljazeera.com. See you online. Hello again, this is the Streams Online Post Show. We're talking about the abducted schoolgirls case and what it means to the people of Nigeria. I want to get right back to that conversation, but I'm going to do it via Patience Jonathan. She is the First Lady of Nigeria. She is married to President Goodluck Jonathan. She had a gathering, a press conference recently with some of the campaigners and the activists who were saying, bring back our girls. Now, in this meeting, a little clip I'm going to play to you, she said, of course, we're upset that these girls are missing. She also talks about God and goes to her faith, and then she has a very emotional kind of reaction to what's been happening. So have a listen to this, and then I'm going to head back to Reuben.
Child, you are missing child. Will you keep quiet? Child, there is God, oh. There is God, oh. The bloods we are sharing.
Would you keep quiet if your child was missing? There is God.
There is God, oh. There is God, oh. There is God, oh. There is God, oh. There is God.
So that is Patience Jonathan, First Lady of Nigeria, obviously incredibly emotional about something that is a tragedy for Nigeria right now. So Reuben, you're the president's spokesman, you're very close to the president. How is the president reacting personally to this crisis?
Well, the president is unhappy, he's sad, just like every other Nigerian, but he knows that he has a job to do. And his job is to make sure that when any Nigerian, be they girls or men or women, when they are faced with this kind of situation, he knows that it is his duty to come to their rescue. And that is why he has focused on getting these young girls back. And that is why he's not sparing any effort in seeking assistance, even from the international community. Today, he met with the Chinese Premier, Mr. Li Keqiang, and it was one of the issues that topped the bilateral meeting between the two leaders. Yesterday, he met with the President of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and it was the same issue that topped their discussions. So President Jonathan is mobilizing all resources, all efforts, and is seeking also the support of the international community. As we speak, the President of France has agreed to organize a meeting of all the neighboring countries and to assist in terms of coordinating and getting the operation to a higher level. At the same time, the British, the Americans, they are offering assistance. So a lot is being done. When people come on television and they run their own country, they are either misinformed or they are being mischievous. And, I appreciate what is happening on social media. It shows that, there is a meeting of minds, that we are all human beings and we do not want other human beings to suffer. But if you look at what goes on social media also, there is creeping into it what I call the tyranny of the hashtag group.
Okay, all right, so I need to get in very quickly before Hadiza does, and then Malika needs to get in before Hadiza does. Hadiza, sit tight just for a moment. What is it that the international community are offering you? There's so much goodwill right now towards Nigeria. What are they offering you, Reuben?
Well, the United States is offering to send a team that will assist with intelligence gathering and the coordination of the operation.
Okay.
The Chinese Premier, Mr. Li Keqiang, today at the bilateral meeting that he had with President Jonathan, made it clear that he will instruct his Ministry of Foreign Affairs to ensure that intelligence, training of military personnel, and other forms of defense assistance is offered.
Right.
President Francois Hollande of France spoke with President Jonathan at 7:05 p.m. Today. And he made it clear that whatever Nigeria wants, France will be willing to provide that assistance, including helping to organize a greater collaboration among the neighboring countries.
Okay, Reuben.
Part of them came from Prime Minister David Cameron of the United States.
Okay, so a lot of goodwill there. Senator, I didn't quite hear what you said. What were you saying?
Can I come in here?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that he needs cooperation from the parents and the people of Borno and other. Yeah, we have been cooperating. Okay. We have been even donating our boys who are going into the bush with the security, with bathroom sleepers. So please, I didn't interrupt you, Reuben. So please allow us to speak. So our boys are going away into the bush sometimes with the military, with bathroom slippers. What contribution? What more contribution do you think we are going to make?
Are you being literal here, Senator? Hold on 1 second. Are you being literal here? Are they literally going into the bush with bathroom slippers on, or is this a metaphor? I just need to check that.
No, they are
explain.
going in. They go just about 2-3 kilometers into the bush, sometimes with our boys. As I'm saying, whenever they get some information, if it is not far, and sometimes when they go just 2-3 kilometers, the military will say, let's go back. As simple as that.
Malika.
So,
Senator, it's because of stories like the one you're telling that local forces may not be equipped to do this, or as equipped as the military is to do this, that we see tweets like this from Innocent, who says that's why at this stage international intervention is necessary, since the government, he says, has demonstrated that it can't handle its affairs. But I want to just, I want to shift gears here a little bit. I want to shift gears here a little bit and take this back to the children, take this back to the girls. Dauda, I want to direct this tweet to you. We just got this from Mohammed, who says, we're at a point where speech and blame game help no one. We need results. Traumatized parents should be getting updates. So Dauda, your niece has returned home. But what is your cousin's family hearing about her classmates? Are they getting updates?
There's no such update, really. These are the things that worry all the people of Chibok. And for me, I just think that we're not being sincere. We need to analyze and compartmentalize these problems and address them accordingly. This talk about efforts and efforts and efforts. See, for me, I'm focused on the results. The parents are traumatized, like you see it on television. The Chibok people have a strong community in Abuja here, the Nigerian capital, and they meet severally, regularly to strategize on how to engage government and keep this issue on the front burner, because it looks like it's getting off the radar of government, and reduce it to bureaucracy and administration, whereas the issues are there, the girls are still missing. We keep hearing some of them are dead, some of them are married out or sold out into slavery. All kinds of things are being discussed about this girl. So where are the results?
Right.
We haven't heard that there's an aerial attack of the Sambisa, the mystified Sambisa forest. There's nothing big. There's no big deal about.
Can I come in now?
Hadiza, go along. Jump in. Sorry, thank you for your patience.
It's important to note that all this is happening.
What I want, Mr. President, to equip the soldiers properly.
Senator, please.
I want them to be equipped properly.
Senator, you made this point. You made this point very clearly. In fact, I remember the last conversation. You made that point very clearly then too. It's noted. Hadiza, please continue.
Yeah. Just to say that it's important to note is 23 days now, and this is now the point where we're trying to engage in the international community. And I recall when the discussion, John Kerry mentioned the fact that an offer had been made initially and the Nigerian government had not taken it up. The same thing with the UK. They said that they made the offer and the Nigerian government had not taken it. So that is why we feel we have to sustain our protests. We have to remain on the streets to make sure that this is done, because we see prior to our protests, prior to the insistence on what is going on, we saw a sort of taking this issue to the back seat. We saw the Nigerian government moving on. We did not see any concise effort. So all this engagement with the international community seems to be a reaction as a result of the sustained pressure, the sustained advocacy about bring back our girls. So that makes us concerned. That makes us concerned because we did not see this concise effort prior to this agitated advocacy. So that is why.
Okay, so Hadiza, take a breath. Okay, so you did some campaigning. We have international response. Okay,
Excuse me.
Carry on.
It's not true that the Nigerian government is reacting to criticism. That's why it's engaging the international community. The truth of the matter is that the government has always engaged. The international community has always engaged the international community.
Ruben, be mindful.
The position of the president is
Hadiza, please hold tight. Hadiza, you can't listen and talk at the same time. Please hold tight for a moment.
Okay.
And Ruben, there's always been, this collaboration between Nigeria and the international community. Nigeria is not going to start collaborating with the Americans or with the British just today. It's been a standing thing, because you know that this issue of terrorism, we've been dealing with it for quite some time. And the position of the Nigerian president is that, look, terror anywhere at all is a threat to all humanity, and that it requires international concerted action. And at various fora, the president had always collaborated with other countries, including neighboring countries.
All right.
So it would be wrong for you to say it's because of advocacy that the Nigerian government is now seeking cooperation with the international community.
All right, so I'm going to put a full stop right there for you, Ruben Abati. I will do my best to put a full stop right there. Hadiza, please hold tight. Ruben, hold tight for a moment. I see no problem whatsoever if advocacy brings international help and these girls are found. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Full stop. Malika Bilal, start the new sentence.
This new sentence is in the form of a question, and it's looking towards the future. Ruben, I have to give this one to you because you're the best person to answer it, so perhaps you can do so succinctly. Neil says, how will the government ensure the same thing doesn't happen again? Are there additional security measures at schools in Borno?
Additional security measures are being taken, not just in Borno, but in other parts where there may be likely threats. But just to note, of course, that I'm not blaming anybody, but also the local authorities, the state government, and other stakeholders, they also have a role to play in this regard. And, you know, the president has made it clear that in ensuring the security of everybody, citizen action is also important. Providing information, being proactive, taking precautionary measures, and the authorities in the affected area, the state government, the local council, the traditional rulers, the leaders of thought, they also have a role to play. And that is why in engaging the various constituencies, the president has continually engaged these other levels where, you know, contributions are required.
All right, so I would like never to have this conversation ever again. I would like never to have to speak to Hadiza or Ruben or the senator or Dawara, because all of the girls are home. That is all of our hope, hopefully. So this is the point where we all can agree and be on the same page here. This conversation continues online, and you can follow it with a whole series of hashtags and also hashtag AJStream. Thank you very much to all of our guests for being part of this very important conversation. Meanwhile, on the next show, we speak to the Palestinian professor who caused controversy by taking his students to visit the Auschwitz concentration camp. We will have that conversation next time. Until then, thanks for watching.